All right, Tim, a nicely well-spaced day with horses in 1, 3, 5, 7 and 8, starting off with Doozy Moon, who now gets the kind of trip that I think that he'll be most effective over.
Yeah, he's a nice type of horse. I think he's come on from the run. He's definitely woken up at least. My only worry is that we have done a couple horse sickness vacs and we did have to go a little bit easy on him, but he's got ability and he's out there to try and earn some money.
And of course, Gavin Lorena will be hungry, and it's with great respect, I think it's quite a step up in jockeys.
Yeah, well, Gavin's riding fantastically at the moment. Yeah, but I'd say maybe a quartet chance, not overly bullish, but he is a nice kind of horse.
Right, moving on to topography in race number 3. She's moved from a 12 to a 14, now 1450, probably looking for more ground ultimately.
Yeah, she's a big scopy filly and gives the impression that she's going to stay all day, or hopefully. Her work's also been very good at home. She couldn't blow out a candle after a bit of fast work today, so yeah, I'm pretty confident that she should be in the shake-up.
Obviously, she's got a really nice draw, and she shows that she can get into the race. So Gavin will be looking to have her in a firing position when they turn for home on that dog leg.
Yeah, I imagine he'd want to have her a bit handy. I don't think she'll quicken up as much as some of the others, but she'll definitely see every inch of the trip. So.
Okay, then moving on to race number 5, where you've got Sisters of Mercy. I know she's one of your favourite fillies, and on her day, she's more than capable.
Yeah, nice lightweight today. Last time, she had top weight. Always think it's hard for these little fillies like her to quicken with her top weight, and she always runs on from behind. So hopefully today, with that galloping weight, she can just sit off the pace and do what she does best.
Okay, then on to race number 7, Kinkowski, number 8. He's probably slightly under sufferance. But I thought his last win was hugely courageous and an absolutely superb ride by Pierce Stratum.
Yeah, it was a lovely win. The only worry is coming back in trip. I do think he's better over a mile, and I actually think we could probably get him to go over 2,000 at some stage now that he's stopped pulling. So he's very well, I can tell you that. His work has been fantastic, and he came out of the race beautifully. So well-being wise, should be there, but just a concern over the trip.
Okay, then on to race 8, the final race of the program for you guys. Horse number 8, Starlight Explorer, and Chad Little in the irons.
Got a nice draw over here. It's the first time going to the grass for quite a while. He had a problem with his knees. He had surgery on his knees a year ago, and that's why we try to keep him off there. But he's got a good draw. He's moving beautifully. We thought, well, let's have a little go over here. He hasn't quite done it on the sand. He's got a bit of pace. Obviously, he's not going to Hollywood, but, if he takes to the surface, he's obviously got a fair chance.
What do you think would be your best performer of the afternoon?
I'd say possibly Topography. She's such a nice-looking filly, and I just think that there's something about her, Probably one to follow. If she doesn't do something today, she's definitely one to follow over her career over the next few months.
Okay. Nice busy day for an informed stable on Sunday for you, Gary. Starting off in the first race with horse number 2, Champagne Haze. There's collateral form with one of Jeff Woodruff's horses who's quietly fancied, and that horse of Brian Weed's great brother looks like a decent sort.
Yes, there's been one horse. I think Azzy's horse has come out a great brother. He was right around 10 lengths with us, 10 lengths off the winner, and I see he runs 7 lengths off in his next start. So we've got to be a little bit careful about that form line. But he's a nice type of horse, and he should be improving, with 1 or 2 starts. Now, I think it's always difficult this time of the year with the Tyrrells gain the mile. Some of them gain the mile for the first time. They've got to find their form and their feet. So, be a bit cautious. He is a nice type of horse. He should start improving with a race or 2. But you know what? You've got to be a little bit careful.
Okay, then on to the second race, also number 2, Bajan Fantasy, and once again Andrew Fortune.
Yeah, she ran a very nice race in her debut. She was drawn bad. Unfortunately, we only got a good draw again on Saturday. Also again for the mile for the first time, but she should be running on towards the end. It's quite competitive. There are a few fillies in there with some nice form lines. So, if we run into the money, we'll be very happy.
Moving on to race number 3, the first leg of the pick 6, horse number 8, Dahlia's Arrow.
Very nice. Her first timer. She's Mr. Mullina's half sister. She's by AP Arrow. big action filly, you know, maybe a little bit tight over the 1400, but she's a type of filly after a start or two, definitely a filly over 1800, 2000 meters, one to look out for.
All right, one of your long-standing and loyal patrons, Joe Gardner, and her little syndicate. The horse is called Kobe, number 3, and she's got some really cracking form, particularly her run to Storm Warning, who's very strongly fancied for the postponed Gold Cup.
Yeah, you know, Andrew, she ran 30 in the Oaks, and of course, I think her handicap went up too strong for her at her stage in her career, because she's very mature mentally, and you know, it's taken a few races, and only now she's really grown into the type of filly that she showed in her earlier form. But I just think her rating and where to place her, that's why we had to go the pinnacles in her last 2 starts. It's been a little bit difficult because there hasn't been the right races. And when you got a filly, it's on a high merit rating. There are not too many of those races unless you run in the features. So it's been tough for her. You know, the 1800 we have to run her. If we don't run her, of course, we're very limited at this time of the year of races for her in her division. But the 1800 a bit tight for her, but she could run into the places.
Okay, then moving on to race number 6, horse number 5, a ladies club, and you've got Devon Ashby aboard.
Yeah, he's Andrew said he should come up here, try and get a few rides, try and help him. She's a very moody filly. She's got quite a bit of talent, but unfortunately she loses it when she comes out of the pen. She fights the riders, so we thought we'll bring her back to the 1200. It won't give her too much chance for her to fight because the pace will be on from the jump. But she's a type of filly that comes from off the pace. She should be doing her best work at the finish.
Okay, race 7, which is the penultimate race of the day. Horse number 2, Pivotal Pursuit, and Andrew back in the odds.
Yeah, he's starting to improve. The handicap has whacked him a little bit. You know, 3 runs ago he was running off a 70, now he's up to an 81. But my biggest concern is going to be the gain, Andrew. He doesn't act at all in the soft gain. His worst run was I think 15 lengths off in the yielding prior to him coming back into form in the winter. He's run, my mistake, he's run twice, I think, in the wet, and twice he's been disappointing. So it's a big concern for us if the track's yielding, and that, not for me. But if the track's good on Sunday, he's got a big chance, yeah.
The final race of the card, race 8, horse number 4, Calico Quiver. Second run after quite a lengthy break. I think it was Vodacom Durban July day that he last run, but prior to that, January. Yeah,
he had, we gelded him after his previous start, and of course it knocked him a little bit. Then he got a bit of a virus. He came back. I thought it was quite a good run for him to come back 4th. We didn't expect him to run that close. But second run after rest is definitely going to be a concern. That's why we've kept him in the 1400. But he's also looking for a mile 1800.
I get the feeling that there's not a standout in this meeting. Would you maybe lean towards Kobe as being your best for the day, even though it's probably a trifle on the sharp side for her?
Listen, Kobe always finishes, in the 1800. I think the pace is going to be on a lot better than the 2000, 600s and the 3000 meters for her. And she does like a strong pace. She's that type of filly. She likes to finish off a race. But it's competitive, that field. I just think if the gain's good, maybe Pivotal. But if it's not, then it's, that you'll just have to play it on the day. But I mean, they've all got their chances and their place chances. I think everything that we're running, besides the first timer, that she might be a bit tight for the 1400. They should be in the money, though. They've got their place chances.
Well, it does help that the stable's in cracking form.
Yeah, it does help, and we've got Andrew and Mark on assisting us. It's a huge asset.
Adam, a difficult sort of day for you, being in race 1 and being in race 8. You have to wait there all the entire duration of the day, but register in the first race, 2 starts over 1200 meters, now moves to the mile, which is probably better on pedigree. Just the bad draw that has to be overcome by a very talented rider in Donovan Mansour.
Hi Andrew, yeah, he's a horse that doesn't really give us much away at home, and we've always known that he would want the trip and prefer it. So we ran him over the 12, then the 14, now we're getting him over the mile, which, like you said, we think will be better suited to. the wide draw to overcome. It's still a preparation for the future. He's a horse that we think will only start showing us his best when he gets to 3 and older. I know being 3-year-old's just around the corner, but mid 3-year-old is what I mean. So yeah, we'll see how he goes from there. Not saying that he's not without a chance though.
So he's a possibility for quartets.
A possibility for quartets is the right way to look at it.
Okay, then on to the son of Jetmaster, Roving Jet. Gavin Arena climbs aboard. Also Stallgate 10, had the 2 runs since the break, June and July. Should be absolutely right on the money.
Yeah, he's a horse that was gelded, and at home he's shown us that he has improved from his gelding. We put him in a work ride his first time, thinking that would be a nice experience way back. Unfortunately, Lyle came off him, so we couldn't really take much of it from there. And then the next start, just felt that he went a little bit too quick and didn't really finish his race the way we would have expected. So I didn't really learn much from that. So unfortunately, his third start after gelding, I'm still looking at to see how genuine he is. But he's a horse that I think does have ability and maybe could surprise you and win the race. If not, I think also a quartet chance.
His work been good?
His work at home is good. He's a Jetmaster. They're also horses that seem to start to show you their best when they get older. He's sound, he looks well in himself, and yeah, if he has to run in the money, I'll be happy with that. I just want to see him give us a genuine run, and then we'll know where we can box on from there.